Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Whew, I made it here in the nick of time. What a busy morning it has been. Good morning, good morning. Welcome back. Yes, last week we skipped Shin Kicking Mondays due to my crazy schedule, and now we are back. We are back for another live on air segment of Shin Kicking Mondays. Oh, I'm out of breath because I had to rush and get my little pup because she often scratches on my door if I don't let her in the room when I do my Shin Kicking Monday. So I had to run and get her real quick, right in the nick of time. Anyway, good morning. If you're joining us in the morning, good morning. Welcome to Shin Kicking Mondays. If it's a different time zone wherever you are, good afternoon, good evening. Hello. Say hi. Go ahead and put your name and location in the comment box and say hello to everybody. And hello from me. All right, we will go ahead and get started. Welcome back. Or if this is your first time, welcome. This is Shin Kicking Mondays. Every Monday, we do free coaching, which includes intuitive readings, which includes psychic readings, which includes past life readings, mediumship readings, or any other kind of channeling to help you to help you connect to your divine wisdom and to your higher self. I am your host, Berni Xiong. We have been doing this now for a couple of months here, so I'm so glad for those of you who have found us and those of you who are able to join us every Monday morning here where I am in the Twin Cities in the Midwest of the US. So if you're just joining us, welcome and say hello in the comment box. Let's see who is here so far. Hi, Pilar from San Francisco. Good to see you. All right. Anyway, well, we'll go ahead and get started so we won't delay the channeling. So, how this typically works is we always start out with a guided meditation that leads into an intuitive channeling that I'll do for the group. And then, following after that, I will open the floor for any questions that you have, or anybody who's looking for more clarity, or perhaps just an intention that you want to set for the day, for the week, and moving forward here and out. I know it's a pretty anxious time right now here in the US, and I know that the elections also affect everybody around the world too, just because of everything that's being covered in the media. So, we are definitely going to make sure we have a nice guided meditation to bring us a center, to bring back the balance, and to really help us, remove any of the anxieties, remove any of that stress we're feeling, and really allow us to breathe and to really be in the moment for ourselves at this time. We definitely need psychic protection at this time. All right. So if you're just joining us, say hello. Tell us where you're joining from in the comment box. I'm going to say hello again here. Hi, Anne from Ireland. Oh, how wonderful you could join us. It must be pretty late by you. I'm trying to remember if you're in the early evening right now or if you're in the late night. But anyway, thank you for making it here. We're going to go ahead and get started with the guided meditation. So if you're going to do this with me, let's go ahead and get comfortable wherever you are. So if you are seated, or if you are lying down in your bed, that's totally cool too. Go ahead and allow yourself to just really sink into your chair or your bed, wherever you are most comfortable and however you can get most comfortable. And you can also feel free to close your eyes at this time too as I guide you through the meditation. I like to roll my shoulders and sometimes roll my neck. Just allow yourself to really feel all of that tension release. Okay. And with your eyes closed, I really want you to think about the intention that you'd like to set for today's channeling, whether it's this group channeling that we're doing now, or whether it's a reading that you would like to get following this channeling. But basically, think about what it is that you want more clarity on right now. Think about what are some of the things that potentially are blocking you or certain situations that are causing you a lot of stress right now. Think about things that, you wish that you could have more control over. But maybe you feel a little stifled and you're not sure what to do. You're not sure what to change. Go ahead and set the intention, even if you don't know what that is. Think about what you want more of, whether it's more wisdom, whether it's more courage, whether it's more comfort, whether it's more clarity, whether it's more support. Whatever it is, feel free to wish for it. It's okay to wish for it. It's okay to set the intention that you want more of it. Because the more we focus on what we want rather than what we don't want, that will really help position us to have the mindset of someone who can control the next step, someone who does have the power to make something happen rather than feeling disempowered. Okay? And while you're doing all of this, remember to breathe. Breathe deeply through your nose. Hold the breath. And then release it. I want you to do the deep breathings a few more times. Make sure we're breathing. Make sure we're allowing ourselves to really feel the power that we have. Sometimes we don't breathe because we feel like we're always running on empty and we're always going from one thing to the next. And if we allow ourselves to feel that the day dictates how we behave or how we prioritize ourselves, then of course we're always going to feel stress. Of course, we're always going to have a hard time breathing and getting through the day physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So it's about pausing. It's about finding this stillness. It's about finding this beautiful sanctuary that allows us to really be present for ourselves and really allows us to get what we need in this moment. And that is peace, that is comfort, and that is clarity. Okay? All right, go ahead and stretch a couple more times. Maybe another deep breath. All right. And when you are ready, you can gently and slowly open your eyes and return back to today's session. I always get excited about this because, though I am pretty quick to channeling, I don't always allow myself that time for stillness either. It's built into my daily schedule, but when I have busy days, I too can fall into that trap of just go, 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 and then, oh yeah, I forgot to meditate. I forgot to find that moment of stillness. But that's what I love about these Shin Kicking Mondays is because I'm forced to do this with you guys. And so it's a beautiful feeling. It's so beautiful to be able to pause and or really allow yourself to sink into the moment and you just feel more empowered. You just feel more in control, more empowered, and you just feel calmer and more relaxed. Okay. So with that, let me go ahead and channel what is wanting to come through today. I imagine that there's me quite a few things coming through today. As I said, for those who weren't here at the top of the show with the elections happening, there's a lot of anxiety in the air, and I feel it. As intuitives, we feel that energy. We try to protect ourselves, but the collective energy is super anxious right now. So I'm going to allow myself to channel through what wants to come through, what messages we need to hear today. And if you're just joining us now, please say hello in the comment box and tell us where you're joining from. All right. Okay, I'm hearing a few words. So I'm going to try to piece this together. I'm hearing the phrase here and now, and I'm also hearing the other phrase that says you can make a difference. Here and now, you can make a difference. Um, I'm going to try to unpack this a little bit more and see if these two messages are coming together or if it's two separate thoughts. So let me ask. Okay, I'm hearing a lot of talking over each other. So basically, I'm just going to piece it together and share out loud what I'm hearing as I'm hearing it, okay? So basically, I'm hearing you can make a difference here and now. You can only make a difference in the present. The present is, and you guys have heard me say this before, the present is the only place where change can be made. We can't change the past. We can't go back and fix something. The past is already done, and worrying too far into the future. I mean, it's good to look ahead, right, for trajectory, for to kind of get an outlook on things, but to fear things so far ahead where we feel overwhelmed and it's too daunting to make a change, that can sometimes backfire on us. And so, what I'm hearing through this message is basically here and now is the only place where we can make a change. Here and now is the only place where we can control our actions, we can control what we do, we can impact change, we can make things happen in this moment. And so, the only place where we can really make a difference is here and now in the present, not the past because it's done, and not so far in the future because it's not here yet, and dwelling on all the things that we have to do in the future and causing us to feel overwhelmed can sometimes be counterproductive because then we end up not doing anything in the present moment. So the message I keep hearing is we can make a difference, and we can make a difference here and now. And and we're talking about really big picture here. We're not just talking about the elections, right? Many of us have voted ahead of time. Some of us have still yet to vote tomorrow. But we're talking about even beyond the election. We're talking about making change that can sustain the world, moving forward. In our little own corners of the world, what can we do to impact change? What can we do to make a positive difference? How can we be more of a positive impact in our corners of the world today? In every decision that we make today, in all of our choices that are more conscious and more deliberate and intentional, what can we do today to move the needle in the future, right? So to get so big and to think, okay, my idea for the future has to be so grandiose that I want to try to change the world, but I'm only one person, and oh my gosh, now I feel overwhelmed and I can't do anything today. Like I said earlier, that can backfire on us. So, how do we change small things incrementally every single day? And then, obviously, for the next, weeks, months, years of our life until the end of, our time here on earth, right? So the big message I think for all of us is what are the things that you are still waiting on? What are the things that are still you can still you have to yet to do? You can still, let's say it's a project. Let's say it's here's a perfect point, and I don't know why this didn't come sooner in the channeling. I almost didn't do our channel or session today, but I knew I had to because my arms are completely sore. Okay, so this is a quick side story. My sister and I decided to make over our bathroom, and when you do one small little project, it leads to another project and another project. So next thing you know, you gutted the whole room. So literally yesterday, after installing a new TV stand for the living room, I ended up doing new tiling for the floor, and then having to help, bust out the vanity. Anyway, I am not a person by any means who knows how to do DIY projects really well. I'm not, I know how to use a screwdriver and things like that, but I wouldn't say I'm very well versed in that stuff. So all through the night and this morning, I have had really sore forearms and hands because of all the screw driving and all the cutting that I had to do. So I'm super, super sore in the arms today. And it's so weird. I've never worked my muscles in these areas before in my life. Maybe I have, I just don't remember doing it, but I've been in so much pain. Okay, all this to say, we've been wanting to do a makeover on the bathroom for, at least 3 years now since we've owned this house together. And we literally just decided to do it one day, and sure, it was a pain in the ass. Sure, it was a daunting task. And sure, I didn't feel equipped to do it. I was not ready. I didn't feel ready. I mean, I had the supplies, but mentally, I just was not ready. And I hadn't had the experience before. So I technically really wasn't ready either, but we made it happen. And so we're still in the middle of the project. We still have yet, to pick up something else from the store in a few days to finish up the project. But the reality is the project is moving, right? The project is moving forward. We did a little bit at a time, and we learned from some of the mistakes along the way what we could have done better next time. But it didn't stop us. We continued to move forward despite, some of the few little pitfalls that we ran into, but not completely roadblocks because we're able to complete the project soon. But anyway, all this to say, if there is something that you've been waiting to do, if there is a project you've been pausing, and you guys have heard me talk about this if you've been here before, so many times we talk about why wait, wait no more, launch the thing, right? Publish the thing. It's the same thing with today's message. Today's message about you can make a difference, and the only place that you can control and the only thing that you can change is going to happen today, here, now, in this moment, right? And so, with my bathroom project, I was waiting for a rainy day, and rainy days came and I still didn't do it. And then the day I did it, I did it. We're here and we're moving forward. The project's moving forward. So, here and now is the only place where you can make a difference. Here and now is the only place where you have control and where you can change anything, where you can make an impact. Okay? So even if you have to take little baby steps, even if it's one small little part of the project that you can at least start on, what can you start on today is the question, right? What can you do today? One small little goal you can make today to impact that change, right? A small change today, and then it still it still allows you to make progress moving forward if in one night you weren't able to affect a complete change, right? You didn't have the complete transformation yet. My bathroom's still not transformed yet. It's going to take a couple of days to get the rest of our tools and whatever product we need, but it's going to get done eventually, but we're moving the needle. Okay. So that being said, I'm curious, is there something that you guys have been waiting on? Go ahead and leave it in the comment. Is there something that has maybe a lot of moving parts and a lot of steps to it? And maybe that's why there's been a little bit of hesitation to get started. And then, how can you break that project down into smaller little mini projects, right? How can you break it down to smaller steps where you can start doing something today? One small little thing today. And I'm pretty sure that even if it does feel like the goal is small enough already and it's just a matter of you getting on your ass and doing it, how can you even take that small goal and make it even smaller? Because there's always something you can do to break it up and make it seem more doable, make it seem more digestible, and make it seem less daunting and overwhelming, right? So even the small tasks, even the small goals can be broken down into something even smaller, okay? So what can you do? What can you work on that will allow you to at least move the needle and at least start doing one small thing every day towards your big goal? And maybe the big goal is something that's not quite solidified yet, right? Maybe it's a very broad, well, one day I want to have a brand new business so I can leave this job. Okay, let's say that that is your goal. How then can you turn that goal into something more specific and more tangible than just an idea, right? How do we now take that idea and turn it into an actual goal that can be realistic? So what if we say, I want to have my own business, reading tarot cards for people, 25 hours a week, right? Let's say that's your specific goal. And let's say that that is actually something that's doable. That's something you can incorporate into your life. That's something that, you can learn or you have already been learning. And so maybe it's something that is realistic within the next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, or a year. Okay. And then now, what do you need to do to move yourself forward to get to that goal? How can we achieve that goal? So let's say you're not as good at tarot cards. Okay, then maybe the first goal is to get better at reading so you feel more comfortable. Maybe the next goal is, okay, now that I feel a bit more comfortable with reading, I reach out to 10 people in my network and ask them if they want a free reading or an inexpensive reading so I can get a little bit more practice, right? And in the process of getting the more practice, I feel more confident, but then I can also ask these people to leave me a testimonial, right? Or to leave some kind of praise that I can put like on a website or something, right? So now I've got testimonials. Okay, so what if the next step then is, okay, now I have to create a website. I have to create a website that says what I do, and these are my customers, and here's what they're saying about me, right? So then you can see how once you start taking that journey, you're led down a path that will lead you down another path, that will lead you down another path, and eventually you'll get to the end. And I never say the destination, because once you reach a certain destination, the goal just shifts and now you've got like a new destination, right? Or the road extends. It continues to extend beyond where you've landed. So I never like to say that you're at the end of your goal, but you've achieved one goal and now you're on to that next, higher level. You're on to that next path that will make the goal become an even bigger life goal, right? Or a life purpose or whatnot. So I'm just using a very basic example of, a small, easy to start business that you could do very, very, very low startup costs. You get a deck of cards, you find some kind of service to book readings. Someone can schedule readings with you. You get a very inexpensive website. You reach out to people you already know as your initial customers. And then, boom, next thing you know, you have something within a few weeks or a few months, right? It doesn't really have to take that long if you break it into smaller goals like that. Now, if you have a much larger goal, obviously, it's going to take much longer to reach that larger goal, but you can still create smaller goals that you can achieve a little bit at a time, until you finally get to meeting that larger goal. I mean, and that's typically just the way we work with goals. And I'm sure all of you have learned how to set goals and how to achieve goals, and it's no different when we think about life. Life goals are the same as the goals that the goal setting they teach us at work. The goal setting they teach us in school, or the goal setting they teach us in business. It's the same in life. In life, we need to know, what is it that matters to me so much? And then, what do I want? What do I want in my life? What do I want to be? How do I want to show up? How do I want to help people? How do I want to serve? And then, the follow-up questions are, okay, how then do I get myself out there? Who do I talk to? Where do I go? What do I offer? How much do I offer? And so these whys and the whats and the hows will continue to keep coming up, but you've got to take the action in the here and now. And that action is just create one small goal and make that your project for now. Make that difference, make that change, make an impact. And then once you've achieved that, move on to the next goal. Always have, in your mind that the end goal, right? If there's a huge end goal you want to achieve, always have that in the back of your mind, but don't let that be the primary goal that you focus on, because many times you'll forget to do the small goals that will lead you to the big, hairy, audacious goal, as they say. Okay? I mean, gosh, I've been going on 12 years now, and I swear every year it does get better. But then every year that I get better and things get easier, every year there's always something new that I want to challenge myself with. So something in the past got easier, but now something new is challenging, right? So you're never going to get to a place where you feel like you're always ready and that everything's always easy. There's always going to be something you get better at because you master it, or you just, from experience, you get better at it. But there's always going to be something new that you haven't experienced yet, and that you're gonna have challenge with, because it's new, it's uncharted territory. So there's always something you get better at, there's always something that's going to be a challenge. And if that's the reality, and we prepare ourselves for that mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and psychologically, then we can really start to be more strategic and more methodical with the way we really handle our business. And that is today and here and now, or like I said, we're gonna tie this up in a bow now, okay? So our intuitive channeling for the group. Here and now is where we can make a difference, right? Today, in this moment, in the present moment, is where you can make a change, is the only place that you have control to change what is yet to come. Okay, so if that's the case, what can we do today? What small goal can we achieve today that will move the needle for us so that we can get closer to reaching that much larger goal that we have in our life, in our career, in our business, or all of the above, right? Or in our relationships or whatnot. Okay, so I'm going to repeat it again. The intuitive channeling today, our intention that we're setting for today and this week is here and now is where you can make a difference. Here and now is where you can make a difference. Okay, awesome. I swear sometimes when I do these channelings, I feel like I'm talking in circles. Oh gosh, so I apologize if that's how it feels to you guys receiving it because when I'm talking, I'm just like, I said that 20 times, but maybe the spirit of the message is like, say it 20 times because maybe that's how many times we need to hear it for us to finally believe it, right? Okay, with that being said, for those who've just joined us, I'm just going to get to some messages. And then for those who just joined us, say hello and tell us where you're joining from in the comment box. Okay, who did I miss? Charmin, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome back. Jabril, good morning. Welcome back. Okay, so just in time. Just in time. So now is the second part of our Shin Kicking Monday segment. This is where I do free public coaching, as I call it. But basically, it's a combination of however I intuitively channel for you, the live audience. So it could be a past life reading, it could be a mediumship reading if spirit wants to come through, it could be just intuitive channeling where I read the energy of you and I read the energy of the situation. It could be a combination of all of the things. And I also use divination tools sometimes too, but I don't have them here in front of me. So as you can tell, I channel quite easily. I tend to not use tools. But if you guys are ever interested in using tools in the future, let me know. I've got tarot cards and I've got some other kind of oracle decks as well, but I typically don't really need to use them. I channel very fast. So sometimes I just let the energy come through instead of using cards. But I do use cards, so I'm totally cool with that. Anybody who's learning to be more intuitive right now, I highly encourage cards. It's a great way to really get that experience, you know? Okay, so that being said, questions. If you have any questions, if you want me to help you set an intention, if you're feeling stuck on something, you don't know what the question is, but you just kind of want to talk about the situation and to get some more clarity, use the comment box and let me know what is on your mind right now, what you need help with right now, and we will use this next part of the session to figure out what messages want to come through to support you at this time. Okay, so don't be shy. You guys go ahead. I'm going to wipe my glasses. And hopefully when I look back up, there will be some questions in the comment box. And then as I'm waiting for questions too, sometimes if I do feel the energy of anything coming through, I will also let you guys know. And I'll let you know if something wants to come through for any particular person. Sometimes it is pretty noisy. Okay. All right. Okay, since I'm getting questions, I'll go ahead and answer the questions first, and then I'll let you guys know if anything else is coming through. Hi, Julia. Good to see you here, dear. How do you deal with distractions? Oh, that's good. Okay, that's a good one. Gosh, that happens a lot too. Okay. Well, I have an answer for you, but I'm going to tune into your energy if you don't mind, Julia, because I think it'd be great for us to see if there is something in particular that is coming through for you specifically as it relates to this question. Okay. I'm hearing the word, Julia, overcommitted. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to channel this message, but feel free to use the comment box to let me know if this sounds right. Like just feel free to say yes or no, not sure, or keep going. Okay, but I'm hearing the word overcommitted. So Julia, I am getting the impression from the energy that I'm reading around you that there is a lot of saying yes to things, a lot of overcommitment to things, and then spreading yourself thin as a result. And here's where I think it's coming from too. And this is something that I experienced firsthand. The energy around you is that you are someone who believes that things are possible. You believe that things can happen. You specifically can make anything happen, right? You specifically have the skills, the tools, the resources, the personality, and the hard work ethic to make things happen. But then in the process of saying yes to so many things and getting yourself involved in a lot of things and knowing that you have the capability to help a project see itself through, right? You're the one who kind of helps put that finishing touch on it and actually helps it launch, right? Or adds that piece that has been missing, and that's why it wasn't launched for so long. So because you're kind of that missing piece in all of these different projects, you do have the tendency to want to say yes all the time. But then when you say yes all the time and you end up having, let's say, 5 projects at once, it's difficult because being a single person with limited resources, we're limited. Even those of us who are very resourceful, which I'd like to say I am too, even we are limited in how much of ourselves we can give, right? In time, energy, intellect, talent, whatever, right? There's only so much we can give. And so then as a result, we end up falling short in some areas, or some of the projects end up failing, or we do really well in one or a couple, and then the others maybe we didn't put as much time and energy into because we just didn't have that time and energy. Or sometimes we feel really resentful because we end up getting mad at ourselves that we didn't make everything work out, right? We weren't perfect. But then we also lose energy too because we put so much into everything. By the time we're done, it's like we have nothing left. And we wonder why, okay, we have nothing left. It should have gone better. I put everything into all of these things. It should have gone better. But the reality is we spread ourselves so thin and we ended up doing ourselves a disservice because we worked harder and we did a lot more than we really had the capacity to do realistically, right? Being humans. That being said, back to your question about how do you deal with distractions? We have to learn to prioritize our routines, our schedule, our it's redundant, prioritize our priorities, but we need to know what our priorities are in order for us to say, these are the things that are important to me, right? These are, when you think about that analogy of having the big rocks in the jar and then the sand, being put in the jar afterwards. We need to know what our big rocks are first before we can allow the sand to come through, right? So we need to know what's most important to us. We need to know what takes precedence first in order for us to know how much bandwidth we have in terms of time and energy to say yes to all of the smaller things that are going to fill up our time, right? So dealing with distractions has less to do with how do I deal with something when it comes to me unexpectedly. It has more to do with how did I strategize my day in a way where I get everything that I need to get done, and I get to focus on all the things that are important to me, and I've created this productivity around my day and around who I am and around how I want, boundaries, right? How I want people to respect me and my time and my energy so that when it gets to the point where I've achieved what I wanted to in my day, I've also allowed this flexibility to handle distractions, right? I think I've heard there's a percentage of, you fill your day up 80% and then you leave 20%, right? You strategically leave 20% open for distractions and unexpected circumstances and unforeseen things that happen. So you even like actually strategize the distractions. You even like build in distractions into your day, right? But you don't allow that to take precedence. You only allow that to be a smaller percentage of your day. Okay. So dealing with the distractions has to do with, what are my big rocks? What do I need to prioritize? What are the things that are most important to me, that matter to me? How do I create boundaries around that? How do I treat myself with that respect? And then how do I teach others to treat me with that certain amount of respect so that, I can do what I need to do to get things done? But then how can I also strategically build in that extra time for distractions, emergencies, unforeseen things that are going to happen? And if we're talking about like small little distractions, like, I go onto Facebook too much, right, when I shouldn't, or, um, every time the phone buzzes, I need to see, who's calling or texting, right? Little tiny things like that, on the other hand, there are easy answers for that. Turn off those notifications or remove the app completely from your phone or from your computer or wherever, right? Block out time where you go to take a look at social media, where you go and take a look at who's called you or who's texted you. Now, of course, if you have, if you're expecting an emergency call from somebody who's in the hospital or, somebody's ill, that's a completely different story. But from a day to day, you can build in the time where you allow yourself to say, here's how much time I'm going to spend checking up on things, and then here is how I'm going to allow myself to actually go in and check up on things. I'm not going to let my phone buzz at me and tell me to look at it. I'm going to look at my phone when I'm ready to look at my phone. I'm going to look at social media when I'm ready to look at social media. I'm not going to let these things make me react to them. Okay, so that's kind of more of the simple answer for small distractions. But big picture is build in room for emergencies and distractions and unforeseen circumstances, but then prioritize more of your time and energy for the big rocks in your life that matter. Okay, I hope that really helps you. But yes, definitely, Julia, it does sound like you do need to say no more to people, and I've said that in a past intuitive channeling that we had a few weeks ago. We were talking about learning how to say no more, because once we prioritize ourselves, once we create those boundaries, it really allows us to be our best self and be most productive. We can't say yes to everything just because we can do things. And what I remember about you is, I know you're super smart and super resourceful, so you're somebody who people are going to reach out to a lot to want to do things with. So that doesn't mean you have to say yes every time. Okay. So I hope that helps you, Julia. Okay. Yeah. So you did validate that that is so you. Yeah, I get it. Me too. I'm still working on it. Even as I give you this advice today, this is something that I need to hear from myself as well. All right. I hope that holds you over, and let me know if anything else comes up. As time goes on, I always love hearing what you guys have to say beyond the readings you get from these sessions. Okay, Anne, and let's see, Pilar. Let's go to Pilar. What's in store academically for your children after your graduations? Will new opportunities be on the horizon? Okay, I know you've asked this question before, so I'm cheating a little bit because I can kind of pull from what I already know about your situation, Pilar. But I'll also let you know if there's any new energy around this moving forward, especially since today is a new day, and so we never know what's going on. Okay. Pilar. I hear the word trust. I keep hearing the word trust. Trust that things are going to work out. Trust that everything you guys have done, all the hard work you've put in, is going to play itself out positively for you guys. Okay? Trust that what you are putting out into the world is good stuff. And good stuff will be reciprocated, right? Good stuff will happen because you continue to keep doing good stuff, you and your kids. Okay? You are all, the energy I'm feeling around you guys is you guys are all great people. Really, really loving. Big hearts. Your kids seem to be loved by their friends. Your kids are they're old souls. So I'm getting the energy around them that they have the tendency to kind of take care of their friends as well. They're kind of like maybe the wiser of their friends. And many times, when you're kind of the wiser one of your friends often come to you, and it can be draining at times. But your kids put out so much good energy into the world, and their friends see that, and others see that. And I think that, when you see people do good deeds, there's always a saying about how, like, good deeds are always met, with more good deeds. It's kind of like the whole pay it forward thing. You pay it forward, you do great work, you're good to people, you're kind to people. For the most part, generally speaking, what happens is, that goodness gets reciprocated, right? The good comes back to you. And so I'm getting a lot of energy of that around you and your children, Pilar. With you too, I would say, and this goes back to, I think our intuitive channeling about stop stressing out so much about the really big picture, right? It's good to see the big picture because it'll really help you figure out, okay, what are next steps that I need to take to move towards, reaching that big goal. But I think you often, Pilar, get stuck on the really big goal that it's really hard for you to kind of reverse engineer and figure out how to work on the small goals. So I'm going to say my biggest advice for you today is going to also be the general intuitive channeling we got today, which is here and now is where you can make a difference, right? So here and now in the present moment is where you can make change, where the choices you make today can really impact your tomorrow and the many tomorrows moving forward. And so you've gotten a lot of decent advice on what your general outlook is going to be in the future. I know you've gotten some from me in the past, but I'm also sensing the energy around the fact that you have done this quite a bit in general, asking friends or, reading books or, looking at blogs and trying to figure out, are we going to be okay? Are we going to be okay? Are we going to achieve our things? And it's a really big picture question you keep posing. And a lot of the energy is exhausted on really, really big picture. But then what ends up happening is then you get a little scared or less productive in the current moment. So I'm really going to ask you today, Pilar, to focus on the current moment. What can you do today? Very small goal you can achieve today. And then the next day, same thing. What small goal can you achieve on the next day? We need to get you in a place of here and now, and the difference and the impact you can make here and now for yourself, and then also encouraging your kids to do the same. Because down the road, the big picture is going to look great for you guys, but you can't be so caught up on what hasn't happened yet that it throws you into this place of fear, and then you end up not wanting to do anything, right? Or you end up freezing because you're just like, oh gosh, I'm freaked out now, so I'm just not going to do anything, right? We don't want that. Do what you can today. Do your best today. Make that impact today. Make those changes today. Control what you can today in the present moment. And obviously with the thought in mind that I'm doing this today because tomorrow I'm going to impact my life tomorrow by doing this today. I'm going to impact my life in a couple of weeks, in a couple of months, in a couple of years. So I just need to keep focusing on today. Okay. And so it's, at times it can be a little impatient. We feel impatient because we're like, we want to know right now what's going to happen a year from now or 5 years from now. But the reality is we don't know if we have a year from now or 5 years from now or even 5 months from now. We never know. So let's focus on how we can do our best today and make today the greatest day ever. So that if we were to leave, prematurely, we did our best every single day, right? So I'm just going to look real quick to see, if any of this is making sense. Okay, spot on about your kids and then your homework. Yes, do your homework. I'm a student right now too. I'm going part-time for my master's in Ayurveda and integrative medicine. So I completely get it. I haven't been in school for long time. And so there are days I'm just like, I know I'm going to get my homework done, but I don't always prioritize it right away either. But if I don't prioritize it, how will I, be a successful Ayurvedic practitioner someday, right? And helping people in integrative health. So if it's important to me, I'm going to focus on the things I need to do today. And that is, serving you guys, doing my homework, helping my mom with her illness, and then my business, working with authors and writing and publishing things and coaching and training, so there's a lot on my plate too, but these are all my big rocks, right, in my life. And I need to make time and I need to make sure that I prioritize them so I have the energy and I have the bandwidth and the capacity to handle all of these things. And if I have too much going on, then I need to get rid of something. I need to get rid of something if it's not going to serve my big vision, right? My big picture. For example, I admit sometimes when I'm really tired or I'm really, kind of like I've had it, I don't want to work today, I can sit on Netflix for hours on end. And there's nothing wrong with that. But if I was to do that every single day, 5 days in a row, that's a problem. But if I allow myself to do that maybe one afternoon or one day, like, like a Sunday or a Saturday, but then every other day I do something else that's more productive, that's totally cool. That is doable. That is a good thing. Allow yourself those down times to do those mindless things, to bring yourself back to, a place of, okay, I don't always have to be intellectual. I don't always have to be on. There are times I can do something, guilty pleasures, right? Like watching Netflix. But then obviously the next day, what am I doing strategically and how is this going to impact the kind of goal that I want to achieve long term? Okay. So awesome. All right. We will move on. But Pilar, I hope that helps you and the kids. You guys are going to be great. You guys are great people. You're going to do great. Focus on the here and now. Do your homework. Okay. And have them do their homework too. Okay. Anne is saying, okay, this weekend was the anniversary of your uncle's passing. You're wondering by chance if there's a message that can come through from him. Okay, let me see. Okay, let me see your uncle. Okay, let me see if something's going to come through. I can't always guarantee it, but I'll let you know if I'm feeling something. Okay, I don't know if I'm actually getting a message from a spirit, but Anne, I'm going to go ahead and read the energy that I'm getting about your uncle, okay? So, go ahead and comment if any of this stuff makes sense to you or not, okay? Or let me know if there's like a follow-up question that you have. I am seeing a gentleman, and it's really weird because sometimes, when you see things, you can't quite understand what you're seeing in the picture, or if you're making it up yourself, or if you've seen it somewhere and you're recalling something that's not really what's going on. So I like to say these things out loud so that you guys are knowing what I'm experiencing as I'm experiencing it. But I keep seeing this, older gentleman, a Caucasian man, kind of balding, and he's got a surprised look on his face, and he's got a bare chest, kind of hairy, and he's wearing like blue, like it's weird that it's just blue underwear. It's really strange. It doesn't make sense to me, but I'm just gonna keep saying it because it may or may not make sense to Anne. But he's got the surprised look on his face. But the energy I'm getting around this guy is that he was very I want to use the word like jolly and joyful, kind of like, when you think of Santa Claus, and he's very ho ho ho, like friendly, happy, just genuinely happy and goofy, and kids gravitate towards this kind of energy, right? So I'm getting the energy of that. But it's really interesting because I'm like, why is he wearing these blue briefs? Like, like tidy whities, but in the color blue. And it didn't make sense to me, but he had the surprised look on his face. And then so I'm kind of like asking, this image, like, what are you trying to show me? What does this mean? What are you trying to tell me? And then I see a person, and I don't know if this is Anne or if this is somebody, another family member, but I see this person kind of looking at him like half smiling, like, I know it's funny and I want to laugh, but half of me is a little bit more like kind of, I don't want to use the word conservative, but I'm a little bit more like, let's be a little more proper than that. Let's not run around wearing our underwears, right? So I'm kind of getting that this woman is, in this image here, she's conflicted. She's like, she thinks it's funny. She wants to laugh, but she can't let herself laugh. She's got a little bit of a grin because the other part of her is like, oh, come on, let's get, let's get our stuff together. Let's get our shit together. Do not be running around in underwear right now. It's just not appropriate. So I'm kind of getting the energy of that where it's like, this man in my image may have not always been appropriate, and he may not have always had like maybe his timing wasn't always the best in terms of like what he said or how he showed up or the things that he did. But he always made people laugh. He always made people like you could break up the tension in the room, right? With the kind of joy and the kind of sense of humor that he had. Let me know if any of this is resonating for you, Anne, or if I'm just completely crazy here. But I'm just really sensing that there was just a lot of joy. And when you look back and you think about a person's life, after they've gone, and then you feel that void, right? You feel that you can finally understand how their presence really did matter once they're absent from your life, right? You can finally understand really what made them, special, or what made them stood out, or why they stood out so much, or what was it about them that really affected your life. And sometimes you don't know what a person means to you or how they mean to you, how much they mean to you until they're gone, until they're no longer there, and until they've been absent long enough for you to realize, wow, now I see how different my life is because they've been gone from it, a long enough time for me to finally, you know, make a comparison between life when they were here and what life is like without them here. And so I think that there are many times, and that you think about him and you think, gosh, I wish I would have been more, kind of looser, with things, and maybe laughed a little bit more when he made jokes. Or maybe I wish I would have not always been so serious or so hard on myself, right? And I wish I could have had a little more joy in my life the way, he showed me. And sure, maybe he wasn't always serious all the time, but he knew how to really enjoy life, when he was here. So it's just really interesting to me. I don't know your uncle. I don't know how much of this is resonating with you, but I'm just really feeling this energy that was just like larger than life, just had a lot of fun, was, goofy and really kind of like a kid at heart always. And many times not always taken seriously, but also at the same time, um, they were valued because they were so full of life and so full of joy. And many times when we become adults, we often don't allow ourselves to have that kind of childlike abandon, right? We don't allow ourselves to have fun sometimes because we think we have to be too serious, or we have to take care of things, and we don't have time for fun. We don't have time to play around. We don't have time for games. You don't have time to be a kid, right? And I think that the reminder here may be allow yourself to have more time to play, to have more time to enjoy life, to have more time to be childlike, right? To have more time to be playful, to have fun, to laugh, to spend time with people who make us feel happy, who allow us to laugh, who allow us to unbutton our shirt a little bit, right? And I think it's a metaphor. Maybe the naked body was a metaphor too, if it's not literal. Maybe it was kind of like, you know how they talk about, being all buttoned up and polished all the time and always looking a certain way or feeling a certain way. I know I've been guilty of that, for the majority of my professional life, Um, but like, let's take off those suits. I used to wear pinstripe suits when I was a corporate sales executive. It's like take off those suits, take off, the buttoned up, prim and proper pressed shirts. I used to dry clean my stuff all the time, every week, hundreds of dollars every week spent on dry cleaning. For what? So that we could show people this perfect, polished button up side of us, and then we don't allow them or ourselves to see the authentic side of us. And I think that's a shame when we do that to ourselves. Why do we do that to ourselves? Right? So I think this is a message for all of us too. It's okay to be flawed. It's okay to not be buttoned up. Um, and it's okay to let people see the side of us that's a little bit more vulnerable and goofy and childlike. As long as it's not coming from a place of harm, as long as it's coming from a place of, me being this way is me showing you who I really am and me showing you how I want to love, how I want to show my love. And if showing my love is by being happy and joyful and playful, so be it, And if I have a hard time being serious, and this is the proverbial I, if the proverbial I has a hard time being serious at times, of course that's masking something, but at the same time, that's that person's journey to figure out why they can't be more serious. But then on the other hand, if we've got somebody who's a little bit more serious, then we always have to ask that person too, why are you so serious? Why are you so buttoned up? Relax a little, right? Loosen up a little bit. Okay, so we all can learn from each other. We all need to find that delicate balance between being too serious and not serious enough. But through and through, the most important thing I'm getting from this message, and for all of us, is we need to just allow ourselves to be who we are. Let's feel empowered to be who we are. And even if it doesn't look like what everybody else looks like, even if it's not following the model of what somebody teaches you it should look like, right? Like what we should look like when we grow up. You need to follow that the journey that resonates most with you and who you are and who you want to be and where you feel most comfortable in your own skin, I guess is the best for me to say it. I want to see what Anne is saying here. He definitely did not take himself too seriously and he liked a good chuckle. The message to let go and be more playful definitely resonates. Good. I'm so glad. Oh, I got goosebumps. I get it. I totally get it. And I hope the blue underwear thing makes sense to you. If not, I'm just going to take it as a metaphor. We'll see. I want to say something about Superman. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. Did he ever pretend to be Superman and run around with blue underwear? I have no idea. I'm just trying to make sense of it. So hopefully the blue underwear makes sense to you. And if it doesn't, it could just be a metaphorical thing. Okay. I'm going to take Jabril's question and then we'll move on. But Anne, I hope that helped you. But thank you for that. That was very beautiful. Okay. Jabril, putting yourself out there more, posting at least one video daily. Nice. The Jabril Show. I don't even do daily. Every Monday, there's a new writing and a new song. This weekend, making commitment in terms of your daily stuff. Yep, writing, Tai Chi, cool, running, guitar, vocal practice, investing in yourself, trusting for support to come through, and doing your best to stay balanced and calm while still in the red. Any wisdom around how to best move forward? Okay. All right, and real quick, Anne just said, not sure about the blue underwear, but I did live with him when I was a kid, so maybe I don't remember. Okay. Hey, maybe even ask your family member, Anne, about the blue underwear. Okay, I'd be really curious to see if that was actually something that he specifically did. Okay, so Jabril, any more clarity around kind of, this new transition that you have? There's this new stuff that you're working on, you're putting out into the world, and you're just trying to get a little bit more clarity around kind of the general outlook on that. Okay, and so let's see what's coming through for you. Immediately, I'm hearing stick with it, stick with it, stick with it. So you're being validated, Jabril. Basically, what you are doing, you're taking all the right steps, right? And if we're going back to the intuitive channeling for the group, we talked about, being able to make a difference right here and now in the present. Everything you're doing in the here and now in the present is awesome. It is moving the needle for you. Everything you're doing today, everything you're prioritizing, all the hard work you're putting in, who you're showing up as, and how you're showing the world who you are showing up as, everything you're doing is in alignment with where you want to be down the road, really big picture, okay? And you're doing everything you need to do today to achieve that. Stick to it. Stick to it and stick with it is the advice for you from your spirit team today. Because basically they're saying, you're not necessarily going to see, results overnight. And as long as you continue to keep moving the needle this way, it's moving little by little every single day. The good news is it's moving. The bad news is you don't see the movement because the change is so small that in the large scheme of things, it doesn't look like the needle has moved very far, right? And so for you, it's if you don't see it, it's hard for you to believe that what you're doing is actually making a difference or making an impact, or that you actually are going to achieve what you want long term. And Jabril, you are. Every single thing you're doing is every single thing any successful person had ever said before in life was, my overnight success came after, X many of years of doing the same thing I showed up every single day and prioritized doing. Okay, so showing that commitment, prioritizing all these important things, and continuing to show up every single day and do it until one day all of a sudden it felt like an overnight success story happened where you're like, holy crap, how did I get here? It seems like overnight, but I've been working on this for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, or whatnot, right? And I don't know how long your journey has been since you started doing, this new stuff, but what I can say is you've already started to make an impact in your life, and you're going to start to see as the time as time unfolds, right, as things unfold in the future, that you already are starting to see opportunities come. They may be, rare, they may be few at this time, but there are more now than there were when you started, obviously, because you continue to show up and you continue to keep showing people who you are and what you do. When people don't see who you are and what you do, it makes it hard for them to connect. How can they work with me? How can I ask them for something, and how can I offer them something? Right? So if you continue to show up and you say, here's who I am, here's what I'm doing, here's my stuff, check it out, it invites people into your sphere and allows them to see what your talents are, what you're capable of, and how they, in their mind, can connect. Oh, here's how I can see us being able to work together. Here's how I can see me being able to hire you. Here's how I can see me being able to buy something from you, right? So you just have to keep showing up and stick with it. Keep sticking with all of the things that you're strategically doing, right? You're building your mind, you're building your talent, you're building your spirit, you're building your intuitive muscle, you're building your musical muscle, you're building all of these different things that are helping you to be even better than you were yesterday. And you already are better. Every day you continue to show up and you continue to develop yourself, you are better than the day before. So the reminder for you is to continue to keep showing up, stick with it, and keep getting better than you were the day before, right? Easier said than done, but you are doing it and you will continue to do it, okay? And you will be great. You will be great. Now, caveat could be if you end up back to like Julia's reading, if you end up spreading yourself thin and you commit to too much, that could be a disservice to you, and then you could become a little bit more unproductive or non-productive, whatever the word is, and then you could see yourself falling short in some areas, right? So like Julia's reading, I would also encourage you to make sure you're thinking about all the big rocks, right? What are all the big rocks in my life? What are all the big things I need to accomplish every single day? These things need to be prioritized first. And these are the things that I need to build into my system, build into my daily routine, build into my schedule. And then I will only allow all of the other little things, right? The distractions or the emergencies or the unforeseen things, or just like the things that pop up, like the impromptu stuff pop up. You've also created flexibility around handling some of these other things, which is a smaller percentage in your day, Jabril. And this is for all of us, right? Building in a small portion of your day to allow for things that you just can't control. We need to control even the space we give to the things we can't control. Okay, so maybe we all need to do a better job of that. Maybe that's one of our bigger reminders today as well, right? We can control what we can control, but we can also control giving space to the things we can't control so that we don't feel out of control. That was a lot of the word control in one sentence, so I'm going to say it again. We need to build a space where we can control, right, the time and energy we give to things we cannot control. Okay? Because if there's anything we can control about these things that we don't have control over, it's how much time and energy and space we give these things that we don't expect in our day-to-day life. Okay? So the most strategic thing we can do is just at least create space to handle these things when they come, because they will come. They're going to come for all of us. They will come. Okay? Awesome. I hope that helps you, Jabril, but keep it up, sweetie. Keep doing a great job. All of you guys, keep it up. Thank you for showing up today, you guys. And the reminder again for us from the group intuitive channeling, here and now is where you can make a difference, okay? Here and now is where you can make a difference. And then the bonus reminder is let's create space where we can have time and energy to control the things that come up and that we don't always have control over, but we can control the small space that we give it so that we allow ourselves the ability to handle them when they do come. Okay? So with that, thank you all for staying to the end. We went a little over time. Thank you for joining me every Monday. I always love talking to you guys, and thank you for the questions. And again, if anybody wants to follow up after the fact, please message me, or if you return to a future segment, let me know if any of these things that came through from previous segments have resonated with you, if you found out more information about it, and if we find out about your uncle's underwear. Again, I could be completely wrong, but I'm always curious to see what you guys find out after the fact. Okay, thank you. Have a wonderful Monday. Let's kick the Shin out of this Monday. But we've got this. Okay, until next time, I will see you guys, and again, thank you so much for joining today.